you agreed with me, right, that the establishment of a lot of the covenant, the Old Testament, the covenant between God and Israel, is to establish a nation, right? These are rules for a nation.
See, I knew this was going to happen, because when Mixet agreed with you on that point, he gave a lot of qualifications,
Right.
And I knew at the time that people are going to forget all the qualifications
Right.
and just stick to their original point.
Which I told him, don't minimize what the Torah is down to like a constitution. That's wrong.
Yeah, the Christians conveniently became lawless in a way.
They are not lawless.
That the law was somehow
You're breaking the covenant. There's no way around it. It's like
Hold on.
Arthur's made peace with it. He's fine with his Torah.
No, let me explain. There's a reason the covenant was given to Moses at that time to establish Israel. He didn't give it to anybody else, right? It was not he didn't give it to Jacob, Isaac. He could have. It's not like he didn't know about it. Like, oh, he just thought of it just right then and there. He gave it to them at that specific time because they're establishing a country in which they're able to fulfill these laws. It's more possible in that nation. Now, what would happen if you're not in a country like that anymore? You need to establish something new.
How do I follow the laws?
Something more achievable. Hold on. Yeah, it's something more achievable that the believer can believe it, can follow, and that is what happened with Jesus Christ. And he gave it out to the Gentiles too, so the world can have God in their life. They can have Him hanging with them. That's the point. And that's why you guys don't like this idea, and you guys fight this, and you try to run around it, and you resist it. You resist the Holy Spirit, just like your ancestors.
We're not fighting you when we tell you the correct interpretation of our text.
The Bible interprets. It says that you are a stiff-necked people, right? Even in Samuel, it states that when they wanted a king. When they wanted a king.
This is ridiculous. We're gonna move on.
Why he's calling them out, and you guys are also being called out.
You guys feed them. You guys feed them. You let them keep going. You gotta cut them. You gotta really tell them the truth.
Hey, but can I ask a question? You haven't proved anything according to logic.
No, what do you mean?
No, I was listening.
What do you mean? They didn't
You
like
guys
the concept
what you
of
guys are doing
Gentiles.
is you're doubling down on the core of your theology of your justifications for disregarding the law.
Yeah.
You're not actually interested whether or not the prophets want you to follow the law. You're only curious whether Jesus gave you permission to violate it. Like, think that through for a second.
Can I ask you? Real quick, right? Can I ask you a question, Mixed? Have you read through the New Testament?
Not the whole thing, no.
Okay, so if you actually did read through the New Testament, if you read in Romans chapter 3, verse 31, where Paul was talking about the relationship between Christian ethics and the law, he says, let me even read it so I don't misquote it. He says, let me start from verse 30. Since God is one, who will justify the circumcised by faith and the uncircumcised in grace, do we then overthrow the law by this faith? By no means. On the contrary, we uphold the law. So Paul is saying that the ability to be in the new covenant even allows you to do what Mosaic law requires in the first place. This is why, again, the whole abrogation idea that people accuse Christians of is not really something that's justified by our theology, because we don't believe that we're operating contrary to Mosaic law, but we're actually fulfilling Mosaic law, meaning prioritizing two commandments: love God and love your neighbor as yourself.
How are you fulfilling Mosaic law? How are you fulfilling Mosaic law when you're not taking the first, 3/4 of the law, or half the law? Half the law is in doing the law. The other half is in keeping the spirit. You kept the spirit, gave up the law. They kept the law, gave up the spirit. So
You can give up the spirit, screw you.
Well, I mean, the way Jesus was teaching, right? Like,
Yeah, you guys are just accusing them of that. It's a libel.
No, yeah, I agree.
The prophets did too.
Little model.
One second. Why is it? I apologize for that. What Jesus was doing is, look, the Gentiles, they're downtrodden. They too must be included. You did not like that. They were like, no. They didn't like the laws too much. So something had to happen. A middle ground had to be set. For that, Muhammad was sent. Neither both of you didn't agree with that. This is I why you don't like it? This is why you both are fighting. He doesn't like yours, you don't like his. But then something has to be done in the middle, and this is what I think. Historically, this would have to have been the balance.
Yeah.
But then again,
Can I say that real quick?
I would argue that keeping the law means that you are keeping the spirit.
No, so I would say this, right?
yeah,
So,
I'm with the Jew on that. You're right. I agree with you.
but that's so the two most important commandments of the law, right? Is number one, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. The second most important command is love your neighbor as yourself. The reason for why the Jews did not follow the spirit of the law is because they ignored these two commandments, especially the second one. They thought they were loving God by being an ethno-nationalist cult and hating their neighbors and literally cursing their enemies, such as the Berkat HaMinim. They were therefore abandoning the commandment of the law, which is to love their neighbors.
Yeah.
Do you know what a min is?
You guys did keep one.
Minim means
Yeah, do you know what minim are?
1 second, one quote. You violated one
Incorrect.
main Jewish principle, the one God.
Preacher.
Okay?
I mean, you're right that it's a type of a heretic, but it's a very specific type. Specifically, a type. It is an objection against sectarianism. Min literally means type. It's cursing those who deviate from Judaism. That's what the curse, the blessing of the minim is. May God stop those trying to cover up the Torah, the sects.
No, that's not all you pray for. You also pray for them to be
And when we're
blotted
talking about
out.
Christians.
Yeah, and you pray for them to be blotted out of the book of life. That is not love whatsoever.
That's not what the blessing says.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I can read you what the blessing says.
No, it was after.
Why always with the Christian go with love? Why?
Yeah, because he knows the blessing better than you do.
Yeah.
I say it 3 times a day. What do you mean?
He knows it very well.
So if you look at
What are
the
you supposed to go with? Hate Muhammad?
My, right. If you look at
An
the
argument, it's emotion.
bruh. Okay, if you look at the Berkat HaMinim, the original text, it did say that may the Nostrim be blotted out of the book of life, but this was edited under later Jewish texts so that it would avoid direct suspicion out of the majority Christian society to avoid persecution. Let me post a link in this.
I mean, are you talking about the Psalms where David says, may they, you know?
No, this is their own. Like this is like Jewish liturgy.
Yeah, but saying love doesn't add to your argument anything. Like you saying I love you, I love you, so what?
No,
No, he's not
you
saying
weren't
that.
listening.
He's
You weren't
making a
listening.
very good
Bro.
point.
I'm saying that's the main command. That's the
Love
main.
is what removes exclusivity. Love is what unites the Goyim and the Jew. Love is what.
It's also already
Not
in the
another
5 books of Moses.
Gentile. This was not.
That even that is conditional. God doesn't love the disbelievers. Like that's conditional.
That's not
God
true.
loves
Yeah,
the
but not
believers.
based on race, right?
Hold
This was not based on classification.
It's not that
According
God
to the
doesn't
Bible.
According to the Bible, it's not that God doesn't love them, but he can't save them.
Condemn them forever.
He has to because he can't do anything for them. They don't
Oh,
believe
so
him.
he loved them. So he condemned them forever. He loved them
cannot-
so much.
Hold on, wait.
Then your understanding of love is crazy.
No, if you look at Ezekiel 33 verse 11, it says, "I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that the wicked may turn from their way and live." That's literally what Scripture says. There's no a lot of what you're going to argue is ex post facto nonsense that the Bible doesn't actually.
So the 2 commandments that Jesus cites are both found in the Torah,
Correct.
and he starts it by saying from the Shema, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord."
Correct.
That's, yeah.
What does one mean in the Hebrew when
Yeah,
they use it?
who
What is
gave
the
you
word?
the permission to use the three distinct?
Hold on, guys.
Where did the 3 distinct persons?
This doesn't help you though. This argument doesn't help you because one, the word that's used for one is akkad, and akkad can mean together as one.
Bro, we gotta get more Messianic Jews here,
Yes,
bro.
it can. Yes, it can. It does. It does.
Yes,
if Euro is a Jew, he would know.
It literally
If
says
Euro is a Jew,
akkad.
he would know. He knows the Hebrew, he would know.
Yeah, he
This
left.
is true.
So would you say that you understand the religion of Jew better than them?
It literally says,
I didn't say.
Adonai, Adonai Eloheinu,
So how
Adonai
they
Echad.
That is basically what he's claiming, yeah.
I'm asking him, is that not true? He would have to lie and say no.
let's say
I'm not
let's say
saying I
it's
know
true.
better. I'm just saying somebody can.
Then how did I understand it then?
You're understanding it from the basis of your.
How they-
hold on, hold on.
Islam, because
They
Islam
understand.
kept the God
Yeah,
model
you're
of the
understanding.
Jew.
No.
Yeah, you're
I'm
understanding it
talking
from
He
your
about
own.
kept the
Jew.
God model of the Jew. You did not.
You're
No.
understanding.
Forget Islam. I'm saying how they understand it. What their understanding of it.
I mean, the Bible says they don't really understand it. I mean, they know it by the letter, but they don't really understand it themselves.
No, even
Yeah, the New Testament.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
no,
they
even
denied
the
the
even the prophets, even the prophets, especially Jeremiah, which is known notoriously for being the weakened prophet, making correct judgments that the Jews do not know God. This is really what Jeremiah says. Hence why he promises that they will know God in the future after that exile.
They did not know God because they did not accept Jesus. That would be the reason. And not Jesus as God, but Jesus who taught them what it is to love thy neighbor as thyself.
Even
This
the
was
point
this was the
they
basic
didn't know
principle
God.
that was violated by the Jew.
I agree, and that's why I made the conclusion. Based on that, they do not follow the spirit of the law because the spirit of the law requires them to do that. That was the only argument I'm making. I'm not making like a whole like. I'm not making a emotional sermon like
It's not emotional.
let me show.
But you can't.
It's Muhammad. The violation of the oneness, the nafs wahid, was what was happening. For this, Jesus was a necessity. So that there would be unity, so that the Gentile would not be oppressed, so that there would not be this exclusivity based on race, color, whatever. And Jesus came to clean that up.
And one of
They
the
didn't like it.
main requirements.
Yeah,
And he said that
that's
he
not-
was God, so
That's not true. I can make the argument for Noah. Like Noah came for all the people also.
But there was no people for him to minister to.
But
Everybody else
For all
died.
the people, he basically like built a boat, hid out on it, and let all the people die.
I was just going to say, as Korah's point, he came from people.
Exactly.
Like there was no people for
He
Moses
did, but he came for all the people.
besides his family.
But that's the argument. You're making. You're saying
It's not
that
the-
Jesus came for all the
I
people.
think when a prophet is sent, it's sent to correct things. This would be like a logical way to look at it.
And also,
There's some imbalance in that godly system, for example. If there is
Yeah, but
also
if
correct
I accept that premise, and I have no problem with that premise, you have to provide evidence of the correction. Would you accept or not?
and also, I want to correct something.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
then if you believe something that they don't believe, you have to have an evidence for it.
real quick, right?
They didn't believe
I wanna-
anything.
I want to correct
They're
something.
making distinction. It was a cultural, social problem that they're facing because of the entrenchment in laws, because of drowning in the laws, and just keeping without the spirit. They forgot their fellow Gentiles. They forgot the good.
Yeah, can I say something real quick?
So what? You didn't answer my question. I said I accept the premise that they can't do correct. Like I have no problem with that. But for you to make that claim, you have to provide evidence of the correction.
Of the divine law.
Of the correction.
The correction is the one which he read. The Gentiles and what did you read? Love thy neighbors as thyself.
Okay, then if that's the correction, what law is previously was wrong?
There was no law that was wrong. I agree with you. That was the crime of
Okay.
the Christian. The Christian didn't keep the law, right?
Oh
the
my-
law was
oh
not the
my
thing.
days.
One sec. I can iron out that wrinkle. That
Okay,
was not the
then I
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I understand your point. Then Megzed have the right to everything he said, because his claim
I
is
agree
the
with
law
Megzed.
doesn't change. Yeah.
That's why I
then
agree
what?
with
We
Megzed
are.
on that. I agree with
Yeah.
Megzed.
Then what? Then what we're arguing? We arguing the law wasn't kept. That's it.
Yeah, well, for who?
For everybody, even the Gentiles.
The Gentiles didn't
They
have
didn't
to
have
follow
a
the law.
law.
They were separated.
Ah,
They were made. The Gentiles were not supposed to follow the law. They were separated.
but
This was their crime.
But you said the correction came with Jesus. He said, I came to fulfill the law. And you said in the same time, Jesus was for the Gentile also.
It's a permissive,
Yeah,
it's a
but
permissive,
Jesus didn't take out the law. The effects of it.
it's a permissive correction. It's not it's a permissive and instructive correction. It's not like a correction because of what they weren't doing. It's saying, hey, you guys haven't followed the law so far because you've been excluded from it, but I'm giving you permission to do so.
Yeah, now do it. Like follow the law. They didn't want to follow it. This is the crime of it.
Real quick, okay, I'm not going to respond to that, but real quick, I want to respond to something that Zed said,
Very well
right?
said.
So, he said that
I go on dialect anyway.
he said the only commandment of a prophet was to make Jews obey the Torah. And that is absolutely not true. If you consider how in rabbinic tradition, I think even going up to the Tanayim, Balaam is considered a prophet. But Balaam was a Gentile prophet who cursed the Israel, or who wanted to curse the Israelites until was told by God not to. And he actually was accused of leading the Israelites away from God. So how is he a prophet if he was disobeying the major requirements for prophethood according to Big Zed?
Yeah, he answered it in the first place. Like when I asked him about abrogation, he said that depends on things that they do at their time. That's it. He didn't say he disobeyed the law. He said, I think you heard him, or I have to repeat his answer.
Please go ahead, because I do not recall.
Yeah, I don't know the specific that you mentioned, but he mentioned many other examples, like David, like Ibrahim, like in the children of Adam when they marry from each other. He would say the law didn't come for them. So what they say, like they acknowledge what they did as wrong. For example, if they break the law, but the law didn't exist in their time. The final and the message that the law come complete was at Musa. This is his argument.
That's not exactly what he said.
Yeah.
What he said was that there is no abrogation, that the law it applies all the time, and it's not that the law didn't exist at the time they did these things. He said they didn't know the law, so there were
They didn't
people.
know the law. Yeah,
There were people that broke the law because of which was
Ignorance.
which right, which is a very different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I said didn't exist. I said I should be clarifying. It didn't exist on their knowledge, so the law always exists. You're right. They didn't
But they
know
could have
the law.
included them, taught them, been one of them. They didn't do it. This was their crime.
Hey, but how do
But that's his
how do we break the
that's
law?
his argument. Yeah, I just explained.
Yes.
Yeah,
So how do Christians break the law? I'm curious.
They didn't break the law. They didn't keep it.
Such as like
They kept the spirit. They didn't keep the law.
I need the particular.
The particulars, yeah.
I can give you an example, like the law of
pork, right?
not pork. The law of the one who leave the religion. What is called?
Apostasy?
Yeah, apostate law.
Is that what you're talking about?
Apostasy law. Apostasy.
That's the best we come up with, Mohammed. Like a.
I just remember it. That was in the top of my head.
Yeah, pork is a good example, right?
Hold
Like
on.
dietary laws were huge during the.
Wait, so you're saying we're saying that Christians are heretics for not killing people who believe the faith?
Yeah, fuck that.
No,
Jesus
no, I didn't say that. You asked me where they don't keep the law. I give you a law that they don't do.
Yeah, but Jesus came to like.
What is apostasy?
But what
What is
do I call-
apostasy
what do you
law?
think? What laws do you think Christians have to keep? I think that's the question.
What law? According to their Bible, the law of what God told them to do.
But what does God tell them to do?
One of the things.
The Torah
One-
is
one-
very clear. It's addressed to the Jewish people. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, if I
Yeah,
understand
that's true.
correctly.
Yeah.
So if it's addressed to Jewish people, then what is the law, Oenko, that Christians or Gentiles, according to your understanding, must keep based on the New Testament?
Yeah.
The law of the Jewish people.
To love the
Wow,
God.
that's the Christian answer.
To love the Lord your God with all your heart.
The law of the Jewish people. They have to keep the law. They have to keep the law. they have to keep the law of the Jewish people.
No, he's saying no. He's saying it's
Why?
love the Lord your God and love your fellow man, right?
No, bullshit. This is their crap. They didn't keep the law of the Jews. They
No, I'm
shouldn't have
asking,
the law of the
but I'm not asking what you think. I'm asking what
Asking
Michael.
wrong for it.
Can you repeat what you said, because so many talk, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, Michael,
Repeat.
please again.
Hey, Nissan,
Can you
earlier,
repeat,
The laws we have to keep,
repeat what you said,
By the way,
because I
Nissan.
think I answered multiple times.
the laws we have to keep are to love the Lord our God with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind, to love our neighbors as ourselves. This includes.
Okay, if I accept that, let's say, like you repeating it multiple times, give me the verse that's the only law that you have to keep.
It's not the only law we have to keep.
Then okay.
Those are the
Then okay.
Wait, just real quick. That's the summary of the law we have to do. Like, if you do those, and you do those.
Then give me a verse that says this is the summary.
No, how? This is a simple question. How do you do those things? It's those two laws.
I think you can use it by predication, right? What does it mean to love? If you understand that, you understand what it means to love God and your neighbor.
no, that's not how we do it though.
Hold on.
The point is that Jesus says that this is the summary of the law, and he's talking about the Jewish law.
Hold on. The Torah talks about Shabbat. How do you do that in a way that expresses love for God? How do you do that?
They don't.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
They don't.
What does it mean to keep
We
the Sabbath?
don't keep the Sabbath.
Right.
They do Shabbat.
So again,
We
does
don't
the
do
law?
Shabbat. No, we don't do Shabbat here.
There's a fragment of a Jewish-Christian dialogue called the Dialogue of Jason and Pipiscus, which is written probably by Aristo of Pella from Jordan. But this is like a Jewish-Christian dialogue written by a Jew that explains like the Christian perspective on Sabbath, like this early 2nd century. It sums up our position like perfectly. I can say.
Meanwhile, what I'm asking you is,
That's fine. But my question, the reason I asked about how.
You should answer this question. Why don't we keep Shabbat as Christians? Meanwhile, why? Why not?
Because
Answer.
Jesus is our Sabbath.
But so, all right. But so what? No. The Sabbath is another question. I'm asking you, do you keep Shabbat as a Christian?
Do because Jesus is our Sabbath. Jesus is the Sabbath.
So where does it say? Can you tell Muhammad where it says that we have to keep Shabbat? Because we don't. We don't have to keep Shabbat. Mom, do you keep Shabbat? Because this is going to trickle on you. Maybe you have to tell us that we have to. This is your opportunity. Did Muhammad say we have to keep Shabbat?
But I'm asking a more basic question. So the commandments to love God and to love people, right? That's the issue. Now the question is, how do you accomplish that? And if you don't have the laws, as they were talking about before, then it's essentially up to every individual to decide what that means.
Yeah, and when Jesus mentions these two laws, he specifically references the entire law. He's not saying that these two commandments replace the law. He's saying that this is a summary of them. He says these are the greatest commandments, these two, which are both from the Torah. So he's not, in that instance, he's not rejecting the law or the Torah. And he even starts that sermon by citing the Shema. That's how he introduces these two commandments.
So, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha ends with Ani Hashem. So
Exactly.
But look, in the Jesus, even in the Sermon on the Mount,
Don't let this slip away. Don't let this slip away. So did Jesus go and tell the Gentiles, like how Muhammad is saying, now the Gentiles, since he came, have to keep Shabbat as non-Jews? Did Jesus ever say that? Because I don't remember him ever saying that.
No, of course not. The law is for Jewish people. It is not for Gentiles, and it never was. So I don't know why people get confused.
but not just the Jewish people.
And
And
Megatron?
this is why Muhammad is so confused, because I'm saying, like, where's the grafting then?
Because it was clarified by St. Peter in Colossians chapter 2, verse 16. Therefore, do not let anyone judge you by what you eat or drink, or with regards to religious festivals, a new moon celebration, or a Sabbath day. These are a shadow of the things that were to come. The reality, however, is found in Christ. That's why.
Yeah.
Hey, so
And just to clear things up, because somebody made a reference to the daily blessing. If you read this blessing, it is not anti-Christian. It's very specifically cites people that are in error of the law. So it's a reference to Jewish people that have committed some type of apostasy.
So who are the who are the notes out there? I'm not dealing with this ignorance today. Who are
The Notre Dame,
Notre Dame, bro? Do you not understand?
the Benin, is
No. The Notre. Let me put in the chat if you can't see what I'm saying.
yeah, so Nissan, if I can just get this out, right? You were saying it wasn't just, it wasn't just to the Jewish people per se, but to the nation of Israel. That's who the law was given to, the nation of Israel. And that nation that was founded under God does not exist in that way anymore today. Where those laws are implemented. So it wasn't just laws implemented for a religion. It was implemented for a nation, because those laws aren't being implemented in Israel today.
the point I was making.
That's not what's happening.
Amara, I'm not disagreeing with you. My point was, this law does not apply to Gentiles. So this argument that people are making,
It doesn't apply to Jews today either.
well, that's a different argument. But I'm just sticking to the point about whether it applies to Gentiles. It doesn't apply to Gentiles, and it never applied to Gentiles.
I don't understand what the
There's nothing wrong with it.
The Jews have been applying the laws.
Do they? The Bible says they never kept the laws.
There's 600.
That's why they got kicked out of there. That's why they got kicked out of their nation.
No, there's very specific ones that's about. That's true, but that's not relevant to whether you keep the law or not. Just because you are a law-abiding citizen and once in a while you don't report taxes, it doesn't mean the people as a whole.
God understands that. That's why that's why there's forgiveness of sins. They were not keeping the laws at all. That's why they got kicked out. It wasn't.
But that is not. Listen. As a practicing Jew, we are keeping the laws. There's no question. Is everybody individually doing it? No, of course not. But that's true of all legal systems.
No, bro,
I'm a practicing Christian, and I'm not following those laws because it's been fulfilled through Christ Jesus.
If God is true, then you're lying right now. They never kept the laws. That's what the Bible. Not one single person kept those laws.
We're just rejecting ourselves here.
Not one single person could, right? This whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Not one single person could. It doesn't make sense. Okay? There's 613 categories of laws. Never mind laws. Categories of laws. So some apply to Kohanim. Some apply to women. Some apply to men. Some apply to owners of slaves. Some apply to people who lend. People who have business. Some apply to people that travel on the sea. Some apply to. Nobody could keep all of them. That's clear. Even those that apply to me, let's say, I am not 100% following them because it's difficult, because I'm tired, because of God knows what. Okay?
Because you're not in a nation of Israel.
And as a society, like these laws were given to a nation of real people, not a nation of angels. A nation of real people.
I understand that, right? But within the nation, it's more possible, I guess, within the nation. Now, let's just apply it to yourself. Because I'm sure they even follow the law better than any Jew could today. Simply, just logically thinking about it, because they had a nation that those laws were implemented on. Now, you live in a Gentile nation, or even if you live in Israel today, they are not abiding by those laws. They have a totally different law.
You know he doesn't have charisma. You always have a hard time.
Charisma. You need to not be Donald Trump.
That's true that outside Israel, there were limitations on what could be applied. But the whole purpose of return of the people to the land of Israel, according to the Bible itself, is to as
But
it's
they-
meant to be.
But they
Ari,
didn't.
if you're just gonna keep repeating over and over, they don't follow the law, they don't follow the law, they don't follow the law, listen.
That's not all I'm saying.
That's
That's
just
not
no
all I'm saying,
problem, man.
Megatron.
I don't
But
all right,
Megatron,
you don't
that's
think
not
they
all I'm
follow
saying,
the law.
dude. That's not
But
all
you
I'm
said
saying.
it you said it, you're gonna say
Yeah,
it again.
I'm saying it, but
And
that's
then
not
if
all I'm
you say it
saying.
again, it's an answer.
I'm
You're just gonna say
rebuttaling
it
to
again.
what he said.
And it gets
Like,
boring.
I'm rebuttaling him. I mean, you guys are boring.
You don't even keep
What are you talking about? You're boring, dude. What do you
Are you
mean?
keeping the law?
That's not what I'm trying to say. If you pay attention, that's not what I'm trying to say.
You go over there and start telling them to keep the law there. I don't know.
I'm not saying that, dude. Pay attention.
Megatron,
Goodness
I think
gracious, bro.
that believers are called saints. So I would rather be called a saint if they don't want to call me a Christian instead of just a Gentile. Okay?
So real quick, man, if you go to Isaiah chapter 59, right, and this is like very prominent in the works of the prophet, right? The prophets often mention very polemical claims about the majority of Jewish people saying that they do not follow God. This is very clear in Isaiah chapter 59, verse 7 to verse 8. It says, "Their feet run to evil, and they are swift to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, desolation, destruction of their ways. The way of peace they do not know. There is no justice in the past. They have made the roads crooked. No one who treads on them knows peace. Therefore justice is far from us, and righteousness does not overtake us. We hope for light and behold darkness." So, right? So this whole
So
notion.
it's 3,000, hold on, it's 3,800 years of history. So there, if you open the Bible, all of it, you will see there are periods where the Jews are keeping and et cetera, and there are periods when they're horrendous and terrible and not keeping the laws and they're being nasty people. So what?
This is
not
not about
The everyday citizen. You do those 5 things, bro. It don't even matter if you don't have oil in your country. America will go there and fuck you, bro.
This was
They will
France.
fuck
This was
you, bro.
France.
Oh my God, Fred.
No, I think France is the worst, bro. You know, I think France is worse than the US.
Nah, bro. Listen, I'm gonna post
What
here
they
where
do
we
in
apply.
They still control the CF.
As an imperial force, France is, I think, historically worse.
Yeah, they still. Well.
France has a right to defend itself.
They had an empire for longer than America, so obviously, and then also like America's like, accused of this sort of neo-colonial.
We do it clandestine.
Campaign. But yeah, as in America
There's
was
nothing we
behind.
can do.
America supported a lot of the independence of a lot of these African states because obviously they had kind of more sort of sinister neo-colonialist designs on Africa, like military bases and whatever else, rather than actually having colonies. But it's not. Some of the resources are really frivolous, like not as frivolous, like bauxite, sugar. Just recently, those like pistachio lobbyists that were basically, hawkish on Iran, basically trying to lobby the president to go into Iran because Iran's like one of their. So it's like it's really, bro.
What? The pistachio.
Really frivolous commodities.
PTR concrete and empty. This is I think this is a French design or Polish design. It's a real weapon.
What'd you say, Eric?
What the hell? No, I said no. That was the obvious, bro.
This nigga. Hey, don't try to ingratiate yourself with the crew by, funny jokes, cause nigga, you are with the you are feminist. You're on the outs.
Oh yeah.
You don't like the crew. You want the crew to
I'm a
fucking
big
fade
time
out.
feminist, bro. I don't deny it, bro.
What the fuck?
That's my baby daddy.
Right there, they are.
right, but they didn't fulfill it. Why? They couldn't
Put it in the
unify.
fatty part
They
of your
couldn't
stomach,
unify.
Megatron.
This was the problem. They couldn't unify.
You just do it in your referat. So what they're chosen for is to be a light to the nations.
Right, and they're following the law, which the Christian didn't follow, by the way. Completely gave it up.
The Christians fulfilled
And
that
even
prophecy because it's through the Jews who are Christian, not most Jews, but the Jews who are Christian, that the knowledge of God spread throughout the world. The Jews in this time period were very exclusive and did not want to associate with Gentiles.
You also gave away with the laws. I mean, the Jew was very
That's
well.
not the point I'm making right now.
No. Then it was your friend.
One of our greatest rabbis and philosophers, Rambam, Maimonides, agrees with you, Michael, that Christianity served that purpose. He also considers it idolatry. That's not a contradiction.
Yeah, and it's completely freaking destroyed the very concept of the one with making Jesus God. So this is what the Jew would say, right?
Boy, this Nissan is really good.
Bro, we just have metaphysical. We just did our homework.
They think I'm idolatrous with.
Well, my mom used to also believe that black people are naturally inferior, bro. That's a Anna Harper. That's a genetic fallacy. That's a genetic fallacy. I know that's a genetic fallacy, so I'm not using it as an argument. I'm just saying.
What Maimonides did was posit the one God, the same that the Jew came with, was true for God.
We didn't forget that. We did our homework in understanding God's mind and His spirit. That's all.
You made God a man. This is what the Jew is going to tell you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is, man.
Anyways, man.
We got you. I can use your book and show you.
Anyway, yeah. So if you go to Isaiah,
Isaiah 6, beginning chapter there.
all right,
Describes God sitting on the throne, filling up with his glance.
Trying to follow the Muslims after this? Are we done with the Jews? It's my turn to follow the Muslims. I haven't with the Muslims yet, so let me call them out.
But Megatron.
He filled the time.
read the chat, bro. This
Listen,
is what Isaiah said about like the.
Yeah, in Megatron.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I agree.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I explained to you that is a period of time.
We're not even. So.
It's the whole thing. Like, you didn't
Yeah, exactly.
take it in consideration. Like,
I know.
Ooh, but
if you look, but it's okay. I still love Megatron. But listen, in Acts. Yeah, he is. In Acts 15, it says, certain people came down from Judea and Antioch and were teaching the believers, unless you are circumcised according to the customs taught by Moses, you cannot be saved. This was brought to Paul and Barnabas into sharp dispute and debate with them. So Paul and Barnabas were appointed along with some other believers to go up to Jerusalem to see the apostles and about this question. The church sent them on their way as they traveled to Phoenicia and Samaria.
because
They told how Gentiles had been converted. The news made all believers very glad. When they came to Jerusalem, they were welcomed by the church and the apostles and elders to whom they reported everything God had done through them. Then some of the believers who belonged to the party of the Pharisees stood up and said, the Gentiles must be circumcised and required to keep the law of Moses. The apostles and the elders then considered this question. After much discussion, Peter got up and addressed them. Brothers, you know that some time ago God made a choice among you that the Gentiles must hear from my lips the message of the gospel and believe. God, who knows the heart, showed that that he accepted them by giving them the Holy Spirit to them, just as he did to us. And he did not discriminate between us and them, for he purified their hearts by faith. Now then, why don't you try to test God by putting up the next to the Gentile the yoke that neither we nor our ancestors have been able to bear? No, we believe it is through the grace of our Lord Jesus that we are saved, just as they are.
Hey guys,
Sister,
I'm about.
that was
No, because I'm about.
Yeah.
This will take
No,
like 5 seconds.
I-
And it's on. Stop. Okay, I'm about to drop off the face of the earth for a few days, so I just want to say bye. I'll be back probably later in the week.
okay.
I love you,
Love you.
I love you, Laura. I love you, Laura.
Have a great time.
Sister, I have never heard the full context, the full text. That's great, thank you. I now am fully convinced that that story is apocryphal and never took place.
Wait, Nissan, could you just?
Didn't look
Yeah,
I
at
kind of
that.
missed. Wait a
Look
second.
at that.
Well, please, I just have a clarifying question. Can you just summarize the story because I missed it with the claim?
you doing the Shihada piece on?
You're not being Muslim. He did
You're
really
a
nice.
anything
They
that.
just needed to stop with the exclusivity, and the Christians need to keep some of it.
Well, can he finish?
And not make Jesus a.
Let him finish his point. The only reason why I asked is I lost the train, and I'm not sure which story he's referring to. So.
Well, it would be unfair of me to try and summarize what Mr. Kitty here.
No, but can you just make a reference to the story itself at least?
Can you give the source maybe, Kitty?
It's in chapter 15 in the book of Acts. I will. I'll put it in the chat. It's in chapter 15 in the book of Acts. He's talking to Peter and Barnabas. So they went to Jerusalem and they said, hey, all these Gentiles are saying that they're getting saved. How in the world can they be saved? They haven't followed the laws of Moses, man. If they're not following all the laws of Moses, getting circumcised, and they have to follow all dietary supplications, if they're not doing that, then they can't be saved. And what Peter and Barnabas came up with is they said, hey, listen, all of us sinners should not deserve grace, the salvation of grace, but only by Jesus will they be saved. So that is why Christians do not follow these Mosaic laws. We have Jesus.
Okay, that's fine. I'll let Nissan. So when Nissan finishes, I have something to say about that.
Right. So I had never heard the full text. That was great. However, because you came with the full text, I am now fully convinced that story never took place and is apocryphal or is a much later invention. And the reason is because we don't have a concept of that, of being saved from anything. That is completely a Christian concept. It's not in Judaism. It's not in the Torah. It's not in Tanakh. It's nowhere. This idea that you are condemned and you must be saved, it doesn't exist.
And there's another problem with this story. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you by talking first. There's another problem that is related to what Nissan's saying. It is not the Jewish position, and has never been the Jewish position that to merit the world to come, that you have to be Jewish or that you have to follow the Jewish law. So this is simply not a Jewish concept at all. Of course, other people can merit the world to come that are outside of Judaism, and those people do not have to follow the law. And not only that, they're called non-Jews, and non-Jews specifically not only are not required to follow the law, it's actually discouraged. So it's just simply not true that there was some sort of discussion amongst Jews that, oh my God, what are we going to do with all these Gentiles not following the law? That would have been normal.
No, what I'm saying is that there was Jews becoming Christians.
Real quick, right? Yes, you're onto something, right? But if these were just Jews talking about following the law, you'd be right. But these were Jews who, for some reason, believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord. So they're part of this proselyte movement. And at the same time, they wanted other people to follow the law. So this actually did happen. And we have reference of this based on the letters of Apostle Paul himself and also the early apostolic fathers who were living alongside Jews, which is why they dedicate against people to avoid Jewish customs. So this did happen.
I understand it, and I'm familiar.
You're right. They didn't reflect that Jews believe you have to follow. They didn't believe you have to follow the laws to be saved, to be redeemed by Jesus. Correct. But it's a group of Jews who were Christians. So you are complaining.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I'm just making this distinction between this idea that Gentiles have to follow the law. That's not a Jewish concept. Now, if you're talking about Jews, the normal conception is yes, they do have to follow the law.
I understand, hold on, wait, I'm learning something here. So, Michael, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that a certain group of early Christians thought that you had to convert to Judaism first in order to be Christian.
Yes.
Right?
You couldn't be a Christian unless you followed Mosaic laws, what they were saying. And so what happened, Paul was writing these 13 letters, one of which being to Colossians, to the Colossians, to the Colossian church. He said, listen, man, you are Christians. It doesn't matter that you're Jewish. You can be a Christian, but you can only be a Christian not because you follow these Mosaic laws. That's not going to grant you grace of salvation, only through the blood of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so you're doing exactly what the Jew was doing. Do you not see, Kitty? She's saying
No.
only and only if you follow these laws, you become a Jew. You're saying only if you follow Jesus as God, you become you're saved.
No, that's cool.
You're doing
No
what he's
contention.
doing.
There's no contention there, Argus. There is no contention there whatsoever. I am 100% doubling down in saying that I don't follow. Euro's right. I'm not following Mosaic law, just like Megatron explained. I am not following all of the Mosaic. It doesn't mean that I don't follow the Ten Commandments.
But there's no reason. It doesn't apply to you. It's
Euro, there's no contention. There's no
Yeah,
contention.
I know that, but I just want to be clear to people. It's like me saying, I don't follow the laws of India. Well, of course not. I don't live in India. It doesn't apply to me. So, yeah, there's no reason why people need to follow laws that don't apply to them.
No,
The
it would
Jewish
be more
laws
analogous-
apply to Jews.
It would be better, more of an analogous thing to say, wait, hold on.
Something
It's
about
more
1
analogous
Corinthians.
to say as an atheist, if I were an atheist and I said, hey, listen, I don't murder, I don't steal, I honor my mother and father. I mean, I'm an atheist. That's wonderful. As an atheist, you can do those things. But unless you accept the blood of Jesus Christ being the only way to salvation through grace and grace alone, you're not saved and you're not going to heaven. And that's what Christians believe. Not what Jewish people believe, not what atheists believe, not what Muslims believe, but Christians believe that.
Yeah, the most biggest exclusivists, even more than Jews. Even more than Muslims.
No, we're not.
Brother, the Jews are not exclusivists.
Jews were not uniting with you.
Can we
The
figure out
the
what
Jews are the
laws
opposite of
apply-
exclusive.
Than they are.
Can we figure out what laws actually apply to the Goyim? Can we figure that out first? What laws actually apply to the Goyim?
Noakai laws. The laws to stop, so the laws to avoid idolatry, the laws to not consume blood, the laws to avoid sexual immorality, and the laws to not consume what is strangled. Which is funny enough, the same laws that James actually prescribed for the Gentiles who were becoming a Christian.
Acts 15, right?
Yes.
That would correlate with 1 Corinthians 5, right, where Paul gives someone to the destruction of their flesh because they slept with their food.
Their fathers' wife.
Right.
But I wonder-
So, that's sexual immorality, right? That's
Yes.
Leviticus what? Esau, what Leviticus is sexual morality? Is it 18?
I'm not sure. I don't-
No, Paul even doubles down by saying that that not even the Gentiles do, meaning that it was something commonly known amongst them not to do, which means that it was a severe abomination, even in Gentile common law itself.
Yeah, but there's like the sexual immorality laws are explicit in multiple different ways, not just sleeping with your father's wife. It's like don't sleep with animals. It's like don't sleep with your sisters, your brother. There's a lot, right? There's not just like one law.
Correct.
So Act 15 expands.
And
We all agree on
they're
that?
dogs or brothers or cats or anything like that either.
No,
We talk about sexual immorality.
It's more than that because we see Lot messing it up. We see Abraham messing it up. Law comes after them, right? And the law says you shall not even be with your first cousin. So let's just look at it that way. The law is transformative. It is becoming stricter. It's becoming more understanding. Like if you went to a Muslim country like Pakistan, they're still sleeping with their first cousins. It's not healthy. It is not producing good fruit from the womb. It is not beautiful in the essence of productivity for the purpose of fruit from the womb of a woman.
Yeah, not every Muslim marries their cousins. Stop this.
How do you have sex
No,
with
Just be honest.
I'm just saying
No, stop it.
Pakistan.
This is who cares? That's culture. They've been doing it for like years and years. This is not what Islam preaches, right?
Okay.
It's not saying you have to marry your cousin. And then I'm gonna tell you
I
how
didn't say that. I just said it's
devour
just I can
Islam
call
after
it
this, but it's not the way to do it.
Filipinos and Filipinas and artists. I'll go that way. They have a huge incest issue, and they're mostly probably Catholic or some kind of Protestant. Okay, does that make you feel healthy?
It's not good. I'm not saying that. Who Who's propagating freaking cousin marriages?
No,
I'm saying it's not mandatory to do it within Islam. Like, see, it's been a very good day today, being extremely honest, transparent, unbiased for Euro and me. Okay? To see through, and Cora, who left, to see through it and from the outside, call out what is missing to an unbiased law. To a biased law. And this should be like, we should accept the truth. The only time we accept the truth, we align with reality. And in that, there is success.
So how many of your cousins, how many
Yeah,
of your cousins did you,
Can we not continue that conversation, please?
Yeah, so we'll go to that after this.
how many cousins did you have sex with?
Have agreement here.
I don't know any of your relations, so I'm just calling you on.
So you've had sex with all your cousins?
Anyways.
I don't go to any of your freaking organized
Can I-
power structures, bro. I'm calling you out just to see what I'm doing.
Gross. Yeah, so the whole point about Acts chapter 15, right, is that these were not like, this is like, if you these were not just regular Jews who are like Gentiles who must follow the law. Like that would be insane, because there would be no proselytizing reason for the average Jew to even associate with a Gentile.
Background. And you never heard the mom.
Oh, he was a stay-at-home dad, though.
Yes.
You know that?
Well, I mean, I ended up figuring it out because, of course, he used to come on here with his real name, and then I would see like, oh, your wife's family has some money, and the wife works, and you're the stay-at-home dad. Amazing. But here you are trying to act like you are this guy who worked yourself up in corporate America. You work for a pharmaceutical company, and you're a scientist, and no, you're just full of shit.
Well,
But
that is the that.
Yeah, he's a trust fund baby.
No, he's not. You married a good
No, he came
woman
from the
who's a trust fund baby.
No, he's from a single mother in Boston.
Yeah, no, he did. I ended up talking to him.
Yeah,
He did seem to have like a grudge against, not a grudge against white people, but he was very sensitive. But he ended up telling me he went to like, he's not a dumb guy, but he told me that like he went to this school for like, I guess the more gifted kids
On the
in Boston.
lottery, right?
And he was
No.
one of the.
Listen. The Medco program, which voluntarily bused black students from the inner city into the suburban schools so that they could get a better education.
No, that's what we're saying, Alan.
I was wrong because I thought he went to the magnet school.
No.
He did.
Yeah,
But he wasn't from the area.
he
Like
wasn't from
Alan
the,
said.
no.
Yeah, he's from the hood.
Yeah, he's from the hood. That's right, but here's the thing. Not all the parents, whatever city he went to, not all the parents liked it. So he felt unjustly targeted or whatever.
But he admitted that to me. The crux of it was I asked him if they were if the white kids were racist to him, and he said yes.
Everyone in Boston is racist. Like, cut it out. It's a really
He
racist place.
won a lottery to go to the night school.
Yeah, and that's good for him. But he just wasn't what he was all cracked up to be.
We had, my school also participated in that program, and we had no issue with any of the kids. I remember
You're lying,
when
Alan. You're from like the 50s.
yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm joking.
Yeah, the 80s. Get it right,
Yeah,
woman.
my bad.
Yeah, but the thing is
The only begotten child of Osiris, thy father. The only begotten child of Osiris, thy father. The only begotten child of Osiris,
is due
thy father.
have a certain amount of, but, yeah, I mean, he's just a self-hating individual. Whether it's because he's black or white or whatever it is, he just doesn't like himself very much. And so it's probably a good thing he's off the app.
Maybe he went back to work. Because
of some people money. But he was obsessed with wealth and money and class. That's all he talked about. My daughter's tuition is this. You guys can't afford it.
I have no doubt in my. Usually people, when they project, like I had a guy the other day was talking about how he's too broke. I'm like, what? Like, you know my financial situation? It's like, yeah, you're broke. I'm like, bro, like usually when people say that shit, they're projecting like that. They're actually broke, you know?
Yeah, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
No, I don't think that he was lying about. I think that he like is financially like wealthy, but I think that he's missing out in like his personal life. You know what I mean? Where like he tries to compensate by saying he has a lot of money because he wants to avoid the personal stuff.
Well, the thing is though, is like I grew up around people with money. Like I just find it so. It's just. So,
what's that other person that they said used to Black Debo? What's his name? Death Row type person. Suge Knight. And I called that man's son the wrong name. It's Elliot. What they call that man, Julie? Like he's the white Suge Knight or something. But okay, well, shout out to them. This is also random since we're talking about rappers. I did not realize that Lil Wayne espoused white people so much. Chicago man. I know this is sounding incredibly tone deaf for me. I have European blood, don't come for me. At least 5 generations back, so I can talk about white people. Why is he always praising white people? I'm like, I get it, Wayne. A white person helped you out when you were young and you couldn't eat or something, but damn, he's just annoying. Okay, that's it. Didn't he get like shot? And the guy saved him? The police officer? He's always praising somebody. I don't know if it was the police officer or somebody. It's like, and then he married Toya, and then he just like lost his mind. It's like he became less New Orleans, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Every time I hear a story about him, he's just really disappointing. Because I love Wayne Down, right? He's a New Orleans rapper, 504, you know. But I'm just like, bro, I don't know. Something is. He's just gotten. The older that he gets, I don't know if it's that lean or whatever he been smoking or drinking. I'm like, Wayne, everybody's against him.
And like, how many of you were born upper class? Nobody raises their hand. And like, how many of you were born middle class? Everybody raises their hand. And you do get the people that are at the top that don't want to look like privileged brats to their peers, so they do like kind of hide the fact that they have money, and just like you have people who are embarrassed about growing up poor, and they hide it, and it's why I just think it's when I hear people talk like that. First of all, the type of person that generally makes it, in whether it's in corporate America or a doctor, generally the first thing that comes out of their mouth is not going to be how much money they make, and then asking you how much money you make. That's just not. I never witnessed that.
No, that's true.
No, that's not what they did. Jazzy, it's considered low class. Like,
most of them are low class.
no, most doctors are by and large, but no, by by nature, most doctors are absolutely not low class, because it takes a person who's pretty studious and intelligent to become a medical doctor. They're literally not going to do that. That's going to mean that they're not low class.
Share the stage a little bit.
Class means you're like fucking dumb, lazy, dysfunctional, that kind of shit.
Holy fuck, bro.
1 second. So
Share the stage a little bit.
most of these people, being smart and all that stuff, unfortunately, it doesn't give you a class. Like you're just smart, you can do the job. But they are assholes, they're dickheads, they're jocks, they're bullies, right? And then they make it, and then they bully other people. What? This is not new. This is not uncommon.
That's not. Maybe if they're like a cheesy salesman or some shit like that, but
Holy fuck.
but to have a professional job, generally not.
You can't,
No.
bro. Can we have a conversation here?
Dude, shut the fuck up, Mountain. I've been quiet for the last couple of fucking hours.
Really?
I started
Have you
speaking
really?
like 15 minutes ago.
Really, that's crazy to me. Really, you've been quiet the whole time? Fuck.
Literally.
That's bullshit. But really though, man, like I had a buddy who just got new wealth, and man, he wanted to like rub it in all of our fucking faces, man. I mean,
Because he's white trash.
well, I mean,
But you're
whatever.
acting like white trash doesn't make it to the top, and that's what I'm trying to
Okay,
tell
there's a difference between you can be somebody who opens up a
Jesus
business
Christ, bro,
and you
know
can
what?
be rather
Stop. Are you
successful.
gonna-
You can be a salesman,
This
make a lot of money.
drama queen does not
But
shut up.
that is not. But what I'm talking about is somebody who tried to make it sound like oh, I have this master's degree, I work in big pharma, and the executive level. Like in other words, somebody that would not be low class, somebody who would have status. And so this is where it's entirely different.
because you're a podcaster, right? So I think at the end
I'm not a podcaster. I don't have a podcast.
Okay, well I don't know what
Well,
you
fuck
do.
you, shit,
You
bro.
don't go to work.
Yeah, you don't
But
work.
long story short, I think that.
I don't talk during the day on the weekdays most of the time.
Oh, you work from your home. Okay, but listen, I'm just trying to make
Not really as much anymore. It's why I don't talk it anymore during the day, really.
Pepe, you don't do what he does or what any of these other people like Goat does. Goat has access to the National Archives, and I'm not trying
What's
to
the
take up
professor?
I'm not trying to take up for them. What I'm trying to tell you is once they get around people that don't have these credentials, they feel better than you. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just telling you what happens. You got people
I
who
don't.
I'm not done.
Goat.
I'm not done.
Okay.
We're on Clubhouse, right? A lot of us came on here talking, and a lot of these people work in these fields, so they look down on us, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing new to it. Just like Dr. Copeland, right? We weren't allowed to say anything about COVID around him because he was going to correct us. So I'm just saying, like, this is, I think, but to call them low class, sure, that's fine. But it doesn't negate the fact that they have money and they made it, right? So you can say that, but they have money.
Well, I would say I read Goats a lot differently. Perhaps maybe he does like to be the smarter one in the room. It could be, I don't know, but I have felt his pain. And look, Goat is compared to, and I'm just going to speak specifically to the black people, he is probably the smartest black person that remains on this app by a long shot.
You are.
No, I'm dead
I'm
serious
not gonna lie.
And you do get a lot of stupid people that are overly confident that think they're arguing a decent point, but they do not realize like how fucking low IQ and just dumb they are. And they often act very ghetto. And then like what is you talk about me dropping the hard R. What does he do? What does he do? He drops it all the time when he's having to deal with the low class blacks.
He's a well-spoken black person, not the.
I said the smartest on the app today.
Not the smartest on the app.
Oh, who's smarter? What black person is smarter?
Pepe, there's a lot of smarter black
Which
people.
black person? Okay, he should be easily able to count. If the black person was activated, smarter.
Tomorrow's pretty smart.
You've been bamboozled. I ain't gonna lie.
No, I've actually listened to him. He is a pretty smart guy.
But also, you have to walk away from the experience with a lesson learned too.
His app at this time.
You're wrong.
He wasn't the smartest person on the app, 3-4 years ago, but I would say today he's definitely the smartest one.
No, okay. But you're not that smart, so it doesn't really surprise me.
Amazing. You're the smartest, Jazzy. You're the smartest. My bad.
It's not me either, but it sure isn't him. But enough about Isaiah.
We are $38 trillion in debt. So if you have to look at that as the
It's mostly just performance art.
An aspiring entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's very performative. He's very performative.
But Pepe doesn't know that yet. I hope he sees it soon.
I've talked to him. I've talked to him for years. He is somebody that would directly come into my rooms and try to debate me. There is.
You're easy. No, he packed you up.
But yeah, well, not necessarily. Because the thing is, though, is that what I would do is, those topics that I would have in my rooms, those were all things that I either had experience talking about, and I would make sure I looked up all of the points I wanted to make up, what the rebuttals would be and the counters to those rebuttals and all of that shit. And I generally picked things that were rather easy to defend. And so I would not, if I ever made a room about a topic where it was like more in the form of a value judgment or an opinion, I always made sure to preface that and to say that I could be wrong.
If you use this
if I'm
sound,
not making a falsifiable claim, I can't be proven false. But the things I would debate, generally, they were falsifiable, and they were never impossible to falsify, at least the claim I would make. So it never really, it's how do you win a debate against somebody who would use that tactic? It's pretty difficult. If I made outrageous claims, then yeah, he would be a force to reckon with.
So Isaiah has a master's in racial studies, is what you're saying.
I think he has a master's in I'm not sure.
Yes, theater.
I would say that he had a lot of time on his hands with reading, and so he'll read the news headline and get like 150 black people that are listening to, performance art, and then if you try to talk to him, he will definitely try to use strongman arguments or try to put words in your mouth or try to set you up to fail. It's really, and like, for instance, me and Brad have had issues, or Viking. Whenever I come in, he lets everyone know before I talk that, I did certain things to Brad, you know what I mean? So basically I'm unqualified to even be heard, but it's just, he's weird, man. He's weird, but I've dealt with him for a long time.
He's a predator. He likes to humiliate people. He gets off on punching down. That's a fact. And he's a predator, and I mean, nobody told him I said this, I don't really care, but I think he preys on black people who value education. He postures himself up by being a professor.
And acting like he's the only voice that matters, right?
Yeah, and he has all these stupid people with degrees who value what he's saying. He has a cult over there, and they've been riding strong for like 5 years. Yeah, they worship him.
Fucking worship him because he's like the only informed voice, but not really informed. He's propagandist. It's fucked up, bro.
And he's a huge advocate for women. He stands up for women all the time.
Yeah, I'm here now, guys, so you can mind me up.
What's up, Picasso?
What's up, man? What's up, Jazz?
How's the baby? Good?
Yeah, all good.
Hey, yo, Prashant. Say it, Picasso.
My boy Prashant. As a man, though, I really don't want to talk about another man, especially when they're not here.
Well, I mean, because you're here and you're a man. The person that we're talking about is not.
That's right.
That's why.
Well, sometimes, man, you just gotta call things out as it is. And so if we're afraid to call things out, then we're just gonna, people live in ignorance. I'm not afraid to call that shit, especially on a fucking audio app, though.
Calling things out for what? For what?
It is what it is.
For what? Because the man has an opinion that you don't like on the internet?
Yeah. If I have a different opinion, so he'll call me out. I'll call him out. That's what I'm saying. So who cares? That's what I'm saying.
This is what I find very weird on this app. People can't have conversations on this app and in these rooms and leave the shit there. Like, I mean, what the fuck are we doing?
What are you talking about, bro? We're just talking about a leftist man a propagandist, man. What are you talking about? We're calling out the left. What the fuck are you doing? Well, your fucking moral fucking compass here, your morality. Shut up.
As a man. Yes, because calling politics out on the internet does anything aside from make yourself feel better.
You see what I'm saying, Marshall?
Please,
Exactly.
please explain to me how calling someone out on the internet serves
It's the
anything
internet.
and making yourself feel
This is a
something.
Jet 2 holiday of the internet, y'all.
Exactly. Who the fuck cares? It's the internet.
Wait,
I think
that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is you don't do it because of any greater thing.
Jazzy, did you hear Marshall talk about how he found out his family had slaves last night?
it was because of me.
So what? He's already admitted that, like 3 years ago. Well, he told the fans. I'm asking if she heard how she was in the room with me 3 years ago.
I'm the one who researched and found his family. I'm not gonna say their last name, but I found him in
A whole entire county.
A whole county named after his family.
So yeah, so I asked him how old he was. Said he was 12 and he went to a family reunion.
Yeah, when the family reunion, Jazzy told me the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a
Wonder
minute.
why there were black people there.
Well, Marshall's a liar. I'll tell you why. He told me and Oscar that, and Adams can vouch for me. He didn't know that he owned slaves. That's what he told us in his room.
No, I asked my mother about it, Jazzy.
Okay, Marshall.
So I see that.
You're the person who told me about the rest of my family, but I asked my mom about that as a kid.
So Father, I see that you're here today. I saw that you had a nice room about me last night, like way to go Pepe, and you have the Pepe hour. Good.
Just
very nice.
Yeah, I just created it. Yeah, I like it.
I don't know about America,
Yeah.
but do you guys in America also have a lot of people sharing the same last name but you don't even know each other?
Yeah. Smith is the most common surname.
A lot of people got to choose their surnames because they didn't have one. Because only noble people really got a last name.
Do you have a system?
A lot of
For the
servants, everybody just chose a last name.
Do you have a system of how like for example, for example, you'll see like son, S-O-N will be at the end of a name. It's pretty common. I mean, like it's somebody's son, or it could be like an occupational last name, like goldsmith, or shoemaker, that kind of stuff. But do you have anything? Do you have any? Do Persian last names work the same way? Do Persian last names, do they, like for example here, like if in English, you'll have like son at the end of a lot of names.
Oh yeah, we do.
If you were some.
Now ye shall know that the chosen priest, the axle of infinite space, is the prince, priest, the beast, and in his woman called the Scarlet Woman is all power given. They shall gather my children into their fold. They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. 16, for he is ever a sun and she a moon, but to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping starlight, but we are not so chosen. 18 burn upon their brows, O splendorous serpent. 19, O azure-lidded woman, bend upon them. 20, the key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto Now ye shall know that the chosen priest, as soul of infinite space, is the prince priest, the beast. And in his woman, called the Scarlet Woman, is all power given. They shall gather my children to their fold. They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. For he is ever a sun, and she a moon. But to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping starlight. 17. But ye are not so chosen. 18 burn upon their brows, O splendrous serpent. 19 azure-lidded woman, bend the candle. 20. The key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto him. your fill of love. 13, I am above you, and in you my ecstasy is in yours. My joy is to see your joy. 14 above, the gemmed azure is the naked splendor of new wit. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardors of Hades. The winged globe, the starry blue, are mine, awake and not soon. My joy is to see your joy. Fourteen above, the gemmed azure is the naked splendor of new age. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardors of Hades. The winged globe, the starry blue, are mine, awake of Nachon soon. My joy is to see your joy.
The manifestation of new Eve, the unfurling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. For every number is infinite, there is no difference. Help me, O warrior Lord of Thebes, in my unveiling before the children of men. 6 feet al Hadid, my my secret center, my heart and my tongue. 7, behold, it is revealed by Iris, the minister for our prayer. 8, the calves is in the coop, not the coop in the calves. 9, worship then the calves, and behold, my light shed over you. 10, let my servants be few and secret, they shall rule the many and the the manifestation of new wheat, to the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite. There is no difference. 5, help me, O warrior lord of Thebes, in my unveiling before the children of men. Be thou and it, my secret center, my heart and my thought. 7, behold, it is revealed by I was the minister of Orpatras. 8, the cast is in the tomb, not the poo in the cast. 9, worship them the calves, and behold my light shed over you. 10, let my servants be few and secret, they shall rule the many and the Lord. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of unsacred need of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sword with gold, the fashion of my that I wear. bed I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle, reverse the sign, given of none, save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Lord I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing of day that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of office and Typhoon. By the sign I invoke Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue fear of the interior. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of earth, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master. By the word I invoke thee. I know the dark blue waves of music from the song that I made of old to invoke Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, child and conquering Lord, Horus Avenger. My hand is thy sword of revenge, and its strength is thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. Sound the five, the voice of the 611 are the voices. Abrahadabra. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawks. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle, reverse the sign given of none. Save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Free mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing of eye that I wear by my robe, I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet and typhon, by the sign I invoke thee. For mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate air, by my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I hear the bond of double power in the voice of the master. Abraham, by the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made about to invoke thee. Strike a master chord, flow, draw the flaming sword, flow, triumph and conquering love, chorus, avenger, by the song I invoke thee. In my heart is thy sword of revenge, let it strike at thy bidding, by the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the fight, the voice of the 611 other voices, every heart of blood. The voice of the fight, the voice of the 611 other voices, every heart of blood. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the heart. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. Around me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure.
When you go on the terrorist sex, you are Lord, keep Muslims abound.
Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign of none. Save it be, oh thee, oh Lord. I am and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white sewn with gold, the flashing of light that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet and typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white and gold, and mine the blue figure at the intimate ear. By my robe I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the
talking about a fucking Bible.
It's a religious book.
Yes, so should we in America be allowed? Is there anything wrong with a movie like The Passion of the Christ being made?
What?
Is there anything wrong about The Passion of the Christ being made as a movie?
I don't know the movie. I don't know Pepe.
Okay, is it wrong for us to make a movie about the Bible?
Listen, making a movie about the Bible and the way you depict another group.
We depict it as it is depicted in the Bible.
I don't know about that because that could go for all religious books, and there is some. You have to admit there is some.
Where is it from?
You know, that's. I don't know if you want to.
Why should we not want to? Why should we not want to spread?
Oh, an eternal story that has never started.
By the way,
Before man had language, they had this story deep within their soul.
Why is everyone dogpiling Mixed? But give them some space for everything.
They're all trying to reject the existence of historical figures. I don't know why.
Yeah,
They're not doing
they're
not
historical figures, dude.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they just
No,
like
they're
reject
not.
shit. They're just dumb. You're not a historical figure, see?
Yeah, I'm not. What exists? You're AI.
Well, who else do I have that referenced you in antiquity?
Daniel.
I mean, if someone referenced me in antiquity, that would be quite
Daniel, bring up the archetypes, Daniel, please. The like
contemporary to me, yeah, several people would mention.
You read it the other day. Like that was in the room. Getting flustered also there. This is the thing, right? When you don't take like the freaking message of the message, instead you want to hold on to the messenger so much. So much that your entire identity is tied. And lineages are tied. This is where like worldviews come.
Yeah, it's just another poem. Fine.
I'm just saying, like.
No, you're not saying anything.
It's not come to
right? See, what I just said was saying
if
something.
accepted Jesus, this exclusivity would have gone. This is
We're
what
fucking
the
poets.
Christian
Can
is
you
trying to
have
tell you.
a clear thought?
Yeah, this is what the Christian is telling you. Jesus too was necessary. And yeah, you denied him. He came to say love thy neighbor. Because he wanted to eradicate.
You can be quiet. You don't have to say anything.
No. I love this. So we're saying Moses never existed and Islam's true? Or is that even possible?
No, none of the historical figures existed, and we are all living through stories which were developed roughly 50 years ago.
Because I'm
The
gonna
non-existence of an archetype doesn't mean that the whole religion is false.
Megatron, this isn't new.
Megatron is motivated. This is so cheap. What Benny, can you tell me?
Listen, man, this isn't new, by the way. There are church
fathers. No. Wait, why is the Exodus story in that book then?
Yeah, so there are several church fathers, specifically from the Alexandrian. Yeah, specifically.
Now, Benny, I don't know why you're using church fathers.
I'll tell you why.
Because now.
Okay, that's fine. I'll tell you why. There are several church fathers, specifically from the Alexandrian school, who took the Old Testament stories, specifically the Genesis, like first 5 book stories, and Joshua as like metaphorical. As
And the church fathers that took them literal.
Yes, that's true. So I'm saying that both are acceptable within Christianity. So you can have my position and still be a Christian. It's not problematic.
It's an honest position what Benny has.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, so can
Muslims are probably gonna have a hard time.
Muslims are
I'm not gonna lie. Muslims never had this whole school of thought of like,
yeah, this is why they're done. So they're done. According to you, just
because of the
prove them.
Yeah, of course. Benny and I did it the other day, like in a room, back and forth.
So then,
I'm sorry, you can't deny historical critical method. You can't
we're
deny.
reading.
If you don't take it the way Benny takes it, Islam doesn't collapse. If you take it the way Benny is taking it, like Christianity doesn't collapse, or Judaism doesn't collapse. If you take them physically, and you say that these have to have been there for this to be true, yeah, they're a collapse.
To be Kadir.
You're also motivated.
Just a second, Benny. I want to prove you're a heretic for a second.
We're gonna say.
He's definitely a heretic, by the way. There's no way that the church fathers of Alexandria allow him to deny the historicity of the Exodus. It's
The historicity doesn't mean that the story, the person doesn't have to exist, but the moral needs to exist, right? They need to show some sort of continuum from this truth principle. There are archetypes such as Moses that existed. We just don't have any evidence of Moses' existence as of now, right? But we have enough of Jesus, we have enough of Muhammad. This doesn't mean all three are true or either one is true.
That was fun. Well, it
Right.
lasted.
This doesn't mean Judaism
Yeah,
is
it was
fun while it
Wait,
lasts.
does he exist now? Oh, he exists now. So that whole thing of him not existing was just for what? Why did we do all that?
We don't have evidence of it. There were archetypes such as him who came with this very similar message. Like Daniel read it out. Dude, Daniel.
No, he didn't.
Bring out your document. You were
Nargis,
I'm
sure you were very impressed when Daniel read a long list of different people that were the character named Moses. But what you failed to do because you didn't actually care to listen to what he was saying was you never checked when the story started. You're lazy, Nargis.
Vedics.
You accepted it as alright, whatever those published.
I've had enough study on this. Okay, I can
But my
send you.
sister like that.
You have no idea. You don't already start.
I didn't put him in the audience. He moved himself.
Okay,
Again,
That's actually threw me to the audience, and by the way, I didn't listen to a word you said while I was down there.
That's fine. Okay, I apologize for doing that. That was inappropriate.
I'm just saying, like, whenever I'm in the audience,
This is not to collapse
I don't
religion.
listen to what you guys are talking.
This is not to collapse religion. This is to see through the truth of it and cherish it and value it for what it is. Yeah, some of the stories have been circulating from time immemorial. And these stories repeat themselves in different geographies. Euro's well aware of this, what I'm about to say. With the same moral of the story, people traveled, these stories kept circulating, names were different, storylines remained the same. This was interesting to the human psyche, and archetypes who came to change the state of their people often held to these stories and said, remember when this happened to this and that.